Commissioner Ujjain Municipal Corporation Shri Avinash Lavania for his presentation on Simhast Kumbh Ujjain 2016. जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत किया जाए उज्जैन कमिश्नर अविनाश लावनिया जी का।
मैं लैपटॉप से ही वो कर सकता हूँ। आप Manish, why don't you join me on stage? Come. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Avinash Lavania, currently posted as Commissioner Municipal Corporation and Singhast Mill Officer in Ujjain. At the onset, I would like to thank Tejasvi, my batchmate and a close friend, for organizing this wonderful conference and allowing me this opportunity to present before this esteemed audience. So basically, Singhast is a Kumbh Mahaparv which is attended by around 5 crore people in a small duration of 1 month. It is organized in an area of about 3,000 hectares, which is acquired by the government of Madhya Pradesh, and a due compensation is paid to the landowners and farmers. And maximum crowd that we see is on one particular day is during a Shahi Snan, which is the main bathing event. On this day, it's about 1 crore people that come over to Ujjain and take bath and go back. It's an event of about 30 days, which starts on April 22 and ends on May 21st. At the onset, I would like to invite everybody who's here to come and be part of this holy event. Right. So, some smart city initiatives we have tried to implement during this Singhast, and I'll take you through those initiatives one by one. There are some initiatives city specific, such as planning, public transport, water distribution, etc., and some specific to people to ensure there's green comb, citizen scorecard and others. I'll take you through them one by one. One thing that we have attempted during this Singhast is that we have tried that the entire planning should occur on a GIS map. It has gone to the details where today we have more than 42 different layers on which all the provisions and planning which is being done for Singhast, be it amenities, be it people movement, be it anything for that matter, it is all being brought on a common platform, so with different layers, so that the information asymmetry does not occur. Everybody should have one base map with 42 layers, and whatever he wants to see, whatever he does should reflect on that very layer, so that the information is immediately disseminated to everybody. This helps us a great deal in planning, as well as for people as well. When they come to Singhast, a lot of information is available for them. So to start with, in fact, if I talk about the detailed plots planning, so this you would see how all the plots that we give to sadhus and sons who come during Singhast are all plotted on a map. Now, once this is available with us, it helps us in a number of ways. First and foremost, this makes it completely final for all the future events of Singhast also to occur as to where and exactly what had happened last time. Secondly, how this helps us is that once this system is in place, till last time, without use of IT, what used to happen was that a particular plot has been allotted to somebody, and then all the civic amenities that have to be provided in the plot, everybody has to be told individually that this is your duty, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. So this time what we have been able to do is that combined with this GIS planning, we have been able to develop a small, very basic software called Plots, in which what happens is that as soon as an allotment occurs, on this GIS map, information flows to all the various departments that this plot has been allotted. These are the amenities that are to be provided. These many number of toilets, these many number of taps. This is the point where the pipeline should come for sewerage and such things. So it helps in execution immensely. This is one thing that has been done. So similarly, on this GIS planning itself, the entire area has been divided into 6 different zones, each zone divided into sectors, and all that planning has taken up accordingly. For public transport as well, as I mentioned, that the entire roads planning is being done on GIS. Secondly, what we have taken care is that all the plots must have a service lane as well, so that the entire service and amenity vehicular movement should not affect the people's movement during the entire event and in the entire Mela area. So this, as I was just mentioning, that it's entirely divided into sectors and all the sectors have their specific roads. This on the left side, what you see are the various layers in the GIS mapping that has been done. So each of these layers tells each of those departments as to where exactly their work needs to be taken care of. For instance, MPV layer will tell the electricity department where all the poles are to be erected, where would their HT line go through, where will their LT line goes through. So this entire planning has taken shape on the ground, and accordingly everybody is executing their jobs. Similarly for parking at satellite towns as well, what happens is that since a lot of people throng these places, satellite towns are created at the entrance of the city from all the major roads, wherein people can park all their vehicles and then either through public transport or on foot they go over to the Mela area. So a similar planning has taken place for these satellite towns as well, which are huge parking lots where people can park their vehicles and go forward. And then of course, once we have this entire planning accordingly on GIS map, it enables us to go ahead with the GPS based vehicle tracking system also, which helps us in providing amenities whether our solid waste movement is taking place rightly or not, and thus forth. Similarly about water distribution as well, it's a complete map, and as you can see that some of the lines are marked green. So as execution takes place, all that a person has to do is that whatever he executes, he updates it there himself that this much of pipeline has been laid by me, and the information is available to his supervisory officers, to us. So all the activities, a lot of activities that are taking place, a lot of information can be seen from this particular setup as well, and we know how much we are in time, where we are running late, where the execution is taking extra time, and what all needs to be done. This is just again all the lines that they lay. This is how they feed the data. They take the levels of the field, and which again feeds back to the contour mapping of this map. Another initiative that we are trying out for Singhas this time is that how we can probably provide cleaner water to people to take bath in the river. One of the initiatives that the state has taken is the Narmada Shipra link scheme, which will allow us to have a continuous flow of water in the river. However, since the water and that particular small section of 2 to 3 kilometers will be thronged by a very large number of people taking bath, we are taking extra initiatives in terms of ozonization and aeration of water over there, so that the water quality is maintained at the desired level. We are also hopeful that we will be asking the agency in charge of catering to the water treatment to display on huge boards the BOD level and the dissolved oxygen level of the water, so that people can see for themselves as to what is the quality of water that we are maintaining. For safe drinking water, we are trying for water huts which will be filtered water and a chiller plant with it, so that people get good quality of water, and the dependence on bislaries and disposable pouches is reduced to as much extent as possible, because one, it is costly for the people who come, and secondly, it is a huge polythene and disposable hazard for that place as well. Again, the points are marked and decided as to where these water huts will come up in the entire area. Another huge initiative that the state has taken for this Singhast Mahakumbh is that there's a Khan river that used to meet the Shipra river, the holy river in which people take bath, at the head of the Ujjain district. So then it would flow through the entire area where people would take bath. Now there were definitely a lot of reservations since it's a holy river, so it should not meet in Ujjain. So a huge scheme of about 91 crores has been sanctioned and is under implementation, by the way of which this river will add to Shipra at the end of the city rather than at the beginning of the city. Also, treatment plants are coming up for this Khan division, so that the water is also brought to the required level before it meets the river. For waste management as well, we are going for a complete planning where each and every dustbin placed in the Mela area should be clearly marked where it is. Its movement to the solid waste management plant should be clearly marked, and that should be, we should be able to track it sitting in a control room as to when and what duration the dustbins have been emptied. Another initiative that has been taken is that a solid waste management plant for conversion from waste to manure is already under implementation in Ujjain, and there will be a complete door-to-door collection established in the entire Singhast Mela area, so that least littering of the place takes place. In the same continuation, sewerage lines have also been clearly planned, and the execution is under progress as per the planning. And toilets have been laid out in what all places, how many seater toilets will be there. Regarding electricity supply as well, 3-4 major points. One, it has been ensured that every point that is fed with electricity is fed from 2 different feeders, so that even if some issues occur because of one particular distribution line, it should not affect the electricity supply of that particular area. So this has been done to ensure that there is 100% and no fail scenario for Singhast for the electricity distribution. HT lines, LT lines, transformers and all those locations have been planned, and execution is in progress as accordingly. Backup brightness has been planned with halogens and high mast vehicle mount. In fact, even vehicle mounted systems are planned, so that God forbid, in spite of all this, if electricity fails in a particular area, there should be vehicle mounted high masts that lit up the entire area and ensure that there is no dark zone that we have. So it's a huge area, as I mentioned. It's about 3,000 hectares, so it's about more than 7,000 electric poles that we establish in this area. And going ahead with the concept of green Singhast, energy efficient electricity lighting, it has been ensured this time that this will be done through LED lights in this entire area, which will then shift to the city. One more thing that we have tried for the Singhast is that for most events and for the most services that are being provided, though we will have field staff who will be monitoring and verifying everything at field, it should be possible for the administration to sit in a control room and check the level of service delivery. For instance, even in the street lighting, it has been asked that smart systems should be installed on the poles which give us a feedback as to, if not possible, which light is on. See, even the technology exists that can tell us which particular light is off, but then that costs immensely. Since our intention was only the service level monitoring, so what we have asked in our contracts is that your system should give me a feedback in a common control room as to how many of my lights are off at a particular moment. After that, it is your responsibility to ensure they are up and running. I'll be penalizing you for as many lights which are on. So we have tried that not a lot of running around should happen on our part, just to go ahead and check as to whether my lights are working or not, whether a particular supply is properly connected or not, whether a particular set of 100 lights or 50 lights are on or off. All this should be, we should be able to monitor it sitting in one place through the feedbacks that today are very comfortably possible through various systems. After this, I would move over to the Green Kumbh initiatives. As I mentioned, we are trying to have it as much paperless as possible. We have at this time opened up that all the plots allotments that is supposed to take place, it should happen online. Since Nasik Kumbh is already ongoing, we have provided the facility wherein sadhus can sit over there and apply online to us, and the plot allotment can take up directly. Paperless registration for training of employees is also being undertaken. We are also trying that all the counters and all the shops that come up in the Mela area should have cashless transactions. So these are some initiatives which are under conceptualization, I would say. For security, the entire Mela area will be spawned by about 481 CCTV cameras, and all of these will be monitored by police in a centralized control room. Not only monitoring of the cameras, but these cameras will also have features of providing feedback if a sudden crowd burst is taking place in a particular area, or there's a sudden strange movement that occurs in a particular area. So all those things have been planned. The mobile application, since all this geo information has been stored and tagged, we intend to provide people with a navigational application which will easily tell them where the particular akhada of a sadhu or sant is, where are the closest public amenities, and such as water, toilets and everything. And at the same time, the same application will provide them with a panic button, so that if in case something goes terribly wrong, they can probably press the panic button and an immediate information will flow to our control center. For transparency, one thing that we tried to implement was a work tracking system. Again, that all the works that are being undertaken and executed for singers should be online told, so that we can at any particular time see as to how many projects are running, how many have been completed, what is the average percentage of projects completed, what tasks are getting delayed. So this is just a list of all the projects that are being undertaken and in various stages where they are. We can view it department wise and see what project is running in what stage. This also provides the facility of the person to update photographs and tell us as to how the projects are taking shape. And other than this, for citizen friendliness, we are trying with social media engagement through our websites, through WhatsApp, through Facebook and Twitter, and so on. We intend to float citizen scorecards at the end of the Mela, wherein they can give us a feedback of how they found all the various services that have been provided to us. This will be the actual test and result card for us whether we have succeeded or failed. Similarly, we intend to establish a call center wherein people can give us their feedback, or if they have any issue that comes up in the Mela area, it can come back to us. Further, for innovation research, one thing that we are trying to do is that the traffic plan that we have made for the entire area, we are trying to run mathematical simulations in association with IIM Indore and everybody as to how it will turn out when people will come up in those numbers. How will this? Might be. Another thing that we intend to do is go ahead with the hackathon, so that as many applications as possible can come up for various people who would be thronging the event. So I would like to say just one thing, that initially when the idea of a GIS mapping came through, there was a lot of deliberation that went into as to how it will actually help us or support us. But we realized that once it was done, there are a lot of applications and a lot of various ways that came up on the sidelines, which have helped us streamline a lot of our planning and execution activities. So the GIS map still lies at the base of the planning and the success, whatever we'll achieve in these initiatives. And at this point, I would also like to introduce you to Mr. Manish Vijayvargi, who is our project team mission team member. I would like to mention here that Madhya Pradesh government has run an initiative wherein, in case anybody is executing an IT related project in the state, he is given a resource person who's been hired from the market and an extremely specialized guy who has worked in the private sector as well, and he's deployed with the team to take care and become in charge of the entire initiative and see that it sees the day of the light. So Manish here is to be thanked for all that we have been able to do here. With this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Do we have questions? I can take questions. Okay. If any questions, I would like to take the questions now. Sir. 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 Sir.
Because you have worked so hard
Sir.
at Ujjain, and we have also been taken a lot of education from what was happening at Allahabad last time. And in fact, our whole team had gone to Allahabad at that time to look at, because after all, we learned from each other. But I think what the IT interventions in Ujjain are going to take the planning and the execution and the monitoring to another level of
Absolutely.
management of huge crowds. And this is something which probably will be a unique experience to learn from Ujjain for the entire state, and might even become an example for the rest of the country. But how do you think this by itself will ensure quality, delivery in quality in all aspects? How do you really see? You can monitor construction and implementation, but how do you really also link it up with quality? Because that's a more challenging aspect.
Sir, I believe that quality monitoring will happen through two things through these IT interventions. Number one, sir, generally what happens in such huge events is that the authorities and the administration at a higher level are never able to get a congregated picture of what is happening in the entire Mela. So the quality monitoring becomes restricted at the very basic and the local level only. For instance, we have 24 sectors in the entire Mela area. Now I believe that if I do not have mechanisms to sit and see what is happening where, then by default whether the solid waste has been picked up from a particular area or not, whether the street lights there are working perfectly or not, are largely dependent only on the monitoring of that person sitting in their sector and he being able to communicate it back to me. So what happens is that in such a huge event, he will communicate it back to me only in case a disastrous event occurs. That, sir, the entire electricity of my area is not functioning, please do something about it. As long as he has set 10 or 20 street lights off, he will probably not even try to report it. He will just try to resolve it at his own level, and such things do not translate and travel to the position wherein you can thrust and say, okay, why is it not working, and talk directly to the implementer that please take care of it immediately. So one advantage is that at the end of the day, that congregated view will be available at our level, that how many lights didn't work, or for that matter, how many places the vehicular movement for solid waste collection did not happen. So one, that helps in quality monitoring that ways. Second thing is, sir, that without these interventions, people's feedback was also not coming up to us. See, once we provide them with a call center, say we provide them with a mobile app, if they find something dirty, they can click a photograph and send it back to us. So a lot of feedback comes to us from that way as well, which will again, you know, push us to deliver it with quality. See, our ultimate objective is that a person who comes for Singha should feel happy. Now, no matter all that we do, if he is feeling pinched by, say, a particular dustbin not getting empty or a particular street not getting swept, it is his right to immediately tell it back to us that, boss, this is not happening. So that is the another way it will probably help us in quality monitoring. I had a question from there.
First of all, I want to thank you because it's a nice presentation, and there are many initiatives taken on making this Singha's as a smart kind of.
Thank you, sir.
So my question is related to about that area which you are using in the Singha's. What happened to that area when the Singha's is not done there? So because in this, whenever we are talking about smart, it's a full utilization of that much area, whatever you are planned for the Singha's. And second question is related to the smart transportation, because I found it's very tough during these kind of events. If we want to travel from one point to another point, there is a huge crowd going here and there. So there should be some kind of green transportation system which can be incorporated with the pedestrian movement, so that the vehicular movement can be curtailed and the pollution also can be controlled. So those things are also incorporated there or not? Yes. That's the question. Thank you.
Okay. For your first question as to what happens with that area, this entire area is notified as Singhast area in the master plan of the city. So what that does is that this entire area can only be used for agriculture. So no permanent structures can come up on this entire area, because the day we start allowing that, slowly and steadily there would come a time when we'll have to host Singhas completely out of the city and somewhere very distant from the river. Right, so this is an area where cultivation takes place for 11 years, and for one area the government, as I mentioned, takes up the area and due compensation is paid to the people who own land in that area. As for your second question about smart transportation and pollution free, there are two things that I would like to mention. One, since this area is thronged by so many people, vehicular movement is entirely restricted. You bring in the vehicles, I should say personal vehicles is entirely restricted. Personal vehicles come only till the your satellite towns where you park those vehicles. From those vehicles to a particular distance on the extremely wide lane roads, public transport is available which you can use to reach that particular point, beyond which it is only pedestrian movement. See, one thing that needs to be ensured in such places of huge crowd is that the entire crowd movement has to be circular. So there is no cross section happening in the entire mill area, and it is entirely pedestrian movement. That is for which we developed all these kacha roads in the entire mill area. As for the pollution free, we are also trying that in this entire Mela area there should be e-rickshaws plying, which people should be able to use to move from one place to the other in case there is slightly longer distance. And secondly, the public transportation also, which will be used in this particular area, will be CNG based. So that is for the pollution part. Right. I thank you all. Thank you. Achha, please.
Myself, Hemant Verma from PwC. Basically, I was fortunate enough to attend 2 of the Singhas in my lifetime, and this will be my 3rd one. One of my experience is that sometimes what happens is that generally some ashrams and akhadas have a huge population in incoming and outgoing as compared to others. So is it like already been identified whether all those ashrams and akhadas are, given ample space and traffic movement that has been planned?
See, one of the challenges that that is posed in such events is that everybody wants to sit where they sat the last time.
Right.
So if an akhada Though I'll come back to your question completely. So, for instance, if an akhada was allotted, say, 80,000 hectares of space in a particular location, all the space around that akhada are already allotted to various different akhadas or sadhus and sons. So, if he asks for increase in area in that particular space, it is just not possible, and it cannot happen. Though one thing that we have done, and we have tried to talk to various akharas in this case as well, is that we have increased the area from the last time, and we are saying that if any increase in area is demanded on the periphery as close to your plot as possible, we would like to allot you extra land, so that if possible people can probably come, stay there, and all the various activities of the akhara can take place in the core land where you sit from all the pastimes. Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Is Ujjain also in the list of smart city? What's your planning about smart city in Ujjain?
Ujjain is in the list of smart cities, the list that has been sent by the state government to the center. And as far as the planning for smart city goes, I would still say it's in a conceptualization stage, where a lot of citizen interaction needs to take place before I myself can say what is our planning for smart city. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sri Lavanya. Now I request Commissioner Bhopal Municipal Corporation, Sri Tejasvi Naik, to present a memento to Commissioner Ujjain Municipal Corporation, Sri Avinash Lavanya. A huge round of applause for Mr. Lavanya. And our best wishes with Mr. Lavanya, Commissioner Ujjain Municipal Corporation, for conducting Simhast Kumbh Ujjain 2016.